Mr. Lynch, lives will be live forever. Good morning, Mr. Massimo, so simple, Mr. Massimo, so simple. Or simply, 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 or simply David. Yes, David, not David Lynch. It's January 20th, 2026, and it's Tuesday. First of all, today I would like to wish, as I already did in a short video before precise hours of his birthday, 3 a.m. 1946. Yes, a very happy and even 80th birthday to him or you, David, and also all the friends, yes, and even particular Messenger Badalamenti e Giulio Cruz. In Naples today anziché totally cloudy, very yes, gray, gray, yes, in general gray sky, in general, also with light rain at the moment, so with the wind cold and heavy. And it's early afternoon 13 and 49 news. 51.8 Fahrenheit 11 Celsius. This means it's really cold, like in the city. We respect cold adjective for the winter, yes, and winter period in Svezia ports of Versailles, per consigliere effect già 4 years la stagione 17 non so che we really overcome 4 years of weather ports last summer, as perhaps some don't remember. For the following last summer, I think Bori, Svek 3 also overcome 4 years with the process. The autumn now also for the winter overcome them in 2000 December 21, to be precise, in 16 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy, whereas perhaps some non removing Bori, some Bori, which I suppose indeed. A misura attuale si dirà single soluzione society simultanea ma propose effect che uscito which means better number perhaps for me la linea di strumenti che dopo issues for the spring summer new to test for the spring society software for the summer agent for the water once again agent software sono dati in generale for the season appears a classica ci a sigare di ghi triste univo something così influito assoluto in comune at apsi particolari really for this period vabbè no I complemi was considering the period it's cold and so winter at when I sense absolutely incomplete I'm referring as referring to me perhaps particularly for this period thanks to the fact that I don't feel cold but I feel cold less than the other people thanks to the size of practice better to practice I follow and do senza minutes to which I always refer and when it comes to winter periods winter weather words periods I always sweat come mi check Spain authority su practice. So also in this case, I wrote in the first part of the first comment with an asterisk. So if you're interested to see the first part of the first comment with an asterisk, I to votare su Brax, I know for a più, non think not facts if you call the friend, think yes, I know this event of them, I think 95% if you call however in general in some way for me was good. Instead about the scat also to in general to absolutely I can say something is justified because it's really bad artistic and be feeling as I'm a few on this. Ingeri diafragma, I think at temperature si repeats just before 51 Fahrenheit 11 Celsius. But important in questa atmosphere, ci vedi. Strifoto di Isa. Yes, yes, cortine su Roma, se cortine in genere, sembra ripeti, sometimes usually say most perfect. This is supposed to fucking soon doesn't repeat this sky, once again, same of yesterday, the grey and totally cloudy, grey, yes, according, considering trends, fucking last yesterday last week, vabbè, also according what I read, consider what I read, consider my sensations, I think it's practically sure that later in Lithuania, from course, later after might became dark and bleak, and also that vivere rain, because a bit is also lettering. At so recent obviously went on Giants Wizards, this month with Steven, it's clear, it's coming today, clear. Band, if not tragic. So season, mythical winner, new white cortina, new flowers, longer flowers, sono plants, sono cortine sa sta number one, magari tinga sono number one, so birthday, per su cortine particolare third birthday, e su cortine was a beautiful grey cortine, beautiful painted bench, so to people the passage from the previous new cortine, all things ready to mettere, sì, so che one of my comments comment section, should be the point in the first comment or for to comment, one of them is comment section, I don't know if you can really see it well or not, as it well from this shot in RBM, if you could yes, see the green flowers, longer flowers, mix with new plants. Or if not, even better, surely better, in short practically the first part of the video, which will usually show you the way to scatter stranger from this classic mythical winner, this classic mythical room, perhaps there is also the other mythical room with other mythical window. Or from a broader perspective, also from for the shot practically similar to classical shot of monitor for previous cortine bit beautiful cortine beautiful pentametric, perhaps also for the first cortine illustrated with the parts carrier cortine entry exactly easy sure, but sure the carrier cortine is still in covering major channel, so now get when should legit and this shot is also related, I was saying this shot is also related to the effect both one reason the shooter also one reason but one reason because effect image si read that picture center also in case used for the previous cortine beautiful grey cortine beautiful pentametric perhaps also in case for the first the color cortine influence only get to remember exactly and also in case also read it for the cortine sorry but repeat the expression also in case for five times where yes this little picture sentence it is but also and always better visible for me in its entirety in its shot at this point is mythical generation. La sega di cresciuto non ottivisi per fanno sega ottivisi con first flax ottobre is important tool was part that also be ottivisi but now as you read little picture center used for the continuous for it because so valid for it so repeat once again but also and always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot at si fonti mythical legend shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard, an GX 640 APG 625 also indicates on this mythical legend shot. Yeah, getting all the people for the process is getting to where also by myself, also biscuits, and finally, I hope you all get breakfast. Today it's late in general, also mass. In fact, when I say late to me for us, if somebody being since last December 31, that occasion for the first time, late in general, and also for the record, but not at all for Mars, because for Mars, as a kind of normality, make breakfast 6 hours for me at the same time, so late. But above all important is this very good reaction sembrano tutti questi stuff can breakfast fintan submit statuito fintan better to making a certain drinking breakfast drinking milk at fintan and part mette fuori yesterday think at regoli si record sembrano di so searchable what repeat it was a record it also matters if it's not more not yes more not yes repeat just roll you just in quote the 13 and 13 and 49 minutes. The liberating show is in set in some way also the first time with the zone. I'm really hungry. And as we always see, breakfast on the most beautiful thing ever. Absolutely. Ja sinusins nossa vania urso morde vania urso los konti single effekkat of X for a reason fragment as and this was the fifth and it crashed more for weeks ago 4-5 ago. It was the fifth reason also the parts beautiful black red also what is fifth the bottom comparison all things that you know perhaps someone following me fact on Friday's weather report no and at yes the time should be this I bit the promise you at 1 day or run top so any ci better to better presidente da ci sta di sitting su medio di speech e finire un shot so bisogno di gioco soprattutto con bazzoni ma siamo su finire a biscuit sarà fair fact tra me beautiful combos beautiful biscuit sia stato finito vanno messo non messo types biscuit sarà gioco chip cookies or cookies chip chocolate or chocolate chips e finito mi seguo su fatto biscuit but in particolare I think for you said the easy first one but make fast one shot tonic and coffee biscuit tu chocolate vecchio suonato fresh swag mit video la shot mi festa finca essa 7 months 8 months singing lo so con ci di pila sono già ci penso better was one is quick to finish now this is one thing so brought it one thing I think 1989 1991 this singing lo so con ci di pila sono già ci penso better was okay and since that month that day I but inserted it once again in the mix over good news all'inizio si fa cadere sobre cose a questa bomba si sta in particolare mega bomba in si che si veste questo gioco soprattutto con bazzmania su questo mi fingo tu questo stiamo si veste pila e in fin siamo non so che si tolla Nicolas Breakfast questo mega bomba e secondo che si fa sia si fa infra Bruce sia sta da Conrad ragazzi mi sa sempre preso position raptor so cos'è qui delle palma batta cioè una versi questo secondo preso position because attraverso preso position per minerare Italian Pamma Dark Chocolate Chip Seals fa questo a due come andiamo di più because they are really super bad. Elsi un tumore se poi fanno a del tumore con dove lepe. Ah, guarda sì.